It brings up the idea of intentionality and flow, right? So when you're myopic on that vision, the purpose, and you're getting rid of all the noise that's out there, and I know you've also written about this. What does an organization that's in flow look like? We talk in our society about people being in the flow personally, but can an organization be in the flow, and what does that look like?
Yeah, um, it can. And so a lot of people don't realize we think of flow and the great research from Mihai Csikszentmihalyi at Claremont Graduate University is incredibly interesting studies over decades with him and his colleagues where they surveyed and they observed, chess masters and jazz musicians and artists and the flow moments. And, flow, just to be clear, is a state of being completely absorbed in an activity. And that's why we have the sense of kind of losing time, right? Because it's and they called it flow because it feels like you're being carried along by a current of water, right? Because you're so, you lose separation from you and the activity. And you're so sort of in there, and there's sort of conditions of flow. So most people, to your point, think about it as an individual thing. They think about Michael Jordan or LeBron or whatever. But the research found that it can be a group, a team phenomenon, as well as an organizational phenomenon. But it's very, very difficult. And what we found in our research is that most teams and most organizations are dysfunctional. They're not clear. They're not coherent. They're not willing to have those crucial conversations where somebody raises their hand and takes the risks and says, wait a minute, I've got some concerns about this. Like, can you tell me more about this? And part of it goes back to lack of clarity on purpose, values, vision, as well as the more medium and short-term things, and poor communication. And then you end up in a situation where people are actually not aligned and in flow, but working actually cross purposes. And I've seen this in organizations where people are sabotaging each other or undermining, and it's about ego and it's about politics. I think this is very, very common. And so the alignment towards flow is a disciplined process of aligning the long, medium, and short term across the whole enterprise, the departments in it, and the divisions, and the teams and the individuals, so that it all sort of lines up. And we, in our book, we've got a 10-step process for doing that. There are different models. Patrick Lencioni has kind of a 7-step model that's really excellent. Startups might want to use an even simpler model because they're not ready for the 10-step model. It doesn't matter so much the model you choose or the framework. It matters much more. Do you have a disciplined process to keep checking in, gathering data, making pivots, getting feedback, making adjustments, communicating, and dialing in that alignment? And if you do, you can achieve flow sometimes. But most people, come nowhere near it.